Today's morning show is being brought to you by
at Golden Nugget Laughlin. Experience a new kind of reward. Sign up for the 24 Karat Select Club today.
Good Monday morning to you all. Welcome to another work week, and welcome to Take Two. I know we're all excited for a new work week to begin, aren't we, Chad?
Oh, you know it. Mondays.
Yes.
They always come around.
They think that they do. Oh, how was your weekend?
It was enjoyable.
Yeah.
I went out and I did a little bit of hiking not very far. It was like this desert area that's near my house, and I was exploring over there and checking stuff out. Oh. And then I worked on some of my pet projects, which one day I'll finish one and we can show.
Oh, yeah. Well, we look forward to that. Hiking in triple degree heat.
It wasn't, it was warm, but it wasn't too bad.
No. Okay. If you say so.
I drove around a lot, too.
Okay.
Like, it wasn't all hiking, and anyway, call me out.
Oh. Hey, good morning, Chris.
Hi.
How are you?
Good morning.
You're that well, huh?
Yeah, Joe and I had an amazing thing we're gonna keep back.
We were finding out about decoding animal language.
Never mind. Good morning. It's Monday and I'm happy it's good right now. I know.
All right.
What happens in the control room stays
in the control room.
Yes, I guess it should. So for everybody's sake, it'll stay back there. Anyway, we have an exciting show coming up today. We have the premiere of our new Inquiring Minds segment, which is going to take place once a month. And we mentioned this before, but one of the Laughlin Town Advisory Board members, Kathleen Whitehead, she runs a Facebook group called Laughlin Inquiring Minds, and she always has these interesting posts that she puts up after she's either toured some facility in the area or just about things that are going on in the community, and we found it very interesting, and she is going to share one of her recent visits with all of us in just a little bit, and we're looking forward to that. And what else do we have going on? We have weather for you, and we have, I don't know, well, last Friday was a bit of an unusual day because we kept receiving reports about bomb scares, and I'm sure many of you heard about this, but in Kingman, first a medical building was evacuated, and then shortly thereafter they had another bomb threat, an airway in Esco, and these things are just, they seem to be running rampant across the country, because also on Friday in New York City, people were in just great panic when some man that they have surveillance photo of, in fact, I sent you guys over a picture of this individual who placed rice cookers in
I read that.
subways in Lower Manhattan, the Fulton Street subway, and also in the neighborhood of Chelsea. And the last thing anybody in a subway station wants to see is a pressure cooker. Why? And they turned out to be, of course, hoax devices. But why would you do this? Why would you try to invoke or incite or that kind of fear in people when there is so much going on for real in this country with just devastating tragedies? What goes through your mind to do something so cruel and stupid and insensitive? It must be some sort of mental illness. It has to be.
It has to be, because that's something that it's like too soon, and I don't know if enough time will ever pass for something like that to be funny, if that makes sense. Like
No.
it's like yelling fire in a movie theater.
Right. That's exactly it. And
Only worse.
yeah, and it can cause so many other things, especially in the case of New York City. And you have people panicked when they see them, and fortunately they remedied the situation right away. But when you have things like that, you can cause people to get injured, and people could have a stampede.
Or a heart attack.
Right, exactly.
Now, I've never been in a subway. I'm sure you have, right?
Oh God, yeah, I certainly have.
They're usually like what you see on TV. Those are pretty accurate with how crowded they tend to get with lots of people. And
yes, and the stations are packed.
Okay.
Waiting for the different subways, and Fulton Street is not one of the largest. When you think of big, huge subway stations, you think of Times Square or Penn Station or something like that. But of course, it's large enough to have several hundred people underground at one time.
Yeah.
Just wanting to get to work or getting to their house, and they have to have some imbecile.
Now, can I also say that being a subway, it's so much more frightening or terrorizing, because, like, could you imagine just being trapped underground because a bomb went off and you're stuck there? And I'm sure that's one thing that people would panic over initially too.
Yes, and absolutely, because I can tell you that having been I was in my it was 2001. I was still in college, and I remember being a little apprehensive to go to New York City, because I worked a lot in the city, and when I had to take subways, I remember for a while in the days immediately following 9/11, and for a while after that, I would always get a little leery getting into subways, because you never knew what was going to happen. We all know that our lives changed forever after 2001, after 9/11, and you just started to become more observant. You see the posters everywhere that say, if you see something, say something, and that's extended nationwide, obviously. The Las Vegas Metro also says the same thing. If you see something, say something. You had the Boston Marathon bombing, all of these things, and they stick in your head. And now when you go to a concert venue or something with a lot of people, what do you think of? Oh my gosh, there could be a deranged gunman that could go in and just start taking pop shots. But then if you live your life that way, you've let them win. So you can't. You have to just accept whatever's going to happen is going to happen, and pray that it doesn't. So, but we don't need people going around scaring people like that. It's just stupid. Speaking
of surveillance footage, I had told you about that one story with the TSA agent.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so you may or may, everybody may or may not have read this, but there was a TSA agent that was recently fired. Now, I sent you guys a Twitter link. Can you pull that up?
Yes.
You can leave the mics open, because I'll just kind of reiterate what's going on. But the employee, the TSA agent, is seen in the video ripping a piece of cardboard off of a box of gloves. I don't think the details on the gloves are very important, so I'm just going to move past that. And she passes him a note. As he's walking away, she yells, "You going to open that note?" And then you can see her laughing. On that note, right there, she starts to burst out laughing. And on that note, she just wrote, "You ugly."
Oh, what?
That's so ridiculous.
Yeah, she was fired. Oh, there she goes. She was fired for the incident, but she
looked like they laughed about it.
They did. Though they burst out laughing. It took him a month to get the copy of the security footage to be able to do anything with it. So that means she went on doing stuff like that for a month.
Huh.
Again, idiocy. You lose your job over doing something.
Was it worth it?
No, of course not. I don't know. I mean, if she meant it really to just insult somebody, or if she just thought it was so hysterically funny to do with her friends.
It
but
was flat out cruel.
Well, of course it is, and I mean, nobody wants to be. Who would even think of being handed a note by a TSA agent?
I know, right? Unless it's well.
Oh well, let's not go there.
Guess not.
No, let's not. No.
Let's just say.
Yes, let's just say it does happen, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes you are handed a note and they take you by surprise. Moving on from that.
That was
I know, and that was just very recent.
Yeah, and it was unintentional going in that direction, but
yeah.
it happened.
So,
Sorry.
mine I have this morning it's almost not security-wise, but this one I thought was really interesting. So Audi decided to drop a new feature on their cars, and this new feature tells you how long that red light's going to be red.
Oh, that's amazing.
So
they
they're
can do
using.
that?
So what they're doing is they're using other Audi vehicles, and they all communicate to each other. And when they learn the time, they'll program it to the other Audis. So when you're driving, I'm trying to find the photo.
It gives the most accurate ETA.
Yeah, it'll tell you the speed limit of that road, and it'll give you a countdown of the red light. So like Teslas do the same thing. So like when you do like the autopilot on the Tesla and somebody drives it, the car will learn it. Then when another car comes through, that will know the last readings from the other car and train the new car. So every single car that comes through, it trains it. So then that fifth person that comes through, it perfectly makes that turn.
Now,
So they're doing that with the red lights in their Audis, where some people get frustrated. Oh, when's it gonna end? For some reason, they put it in the Audis. Is that weird, or should they even be allowed to be honest?
yeah, I like it, but my question would be that would only work for the timed signals, not the weighted ones, right? Because there's some that work based off of weight that determine somebody's there.
This is only currently right now from what they said is if you're a resident in Phoenix, LA, some of the big cities where they know where it's set the timers, their cars will program other cars.
Oh.
But I don't know if it's they didn't say it's like here in Bullhead. They don't have it yet, so I'm not sure how they're getting such data yet. Well, like the speed limit, you can get that through Google Maps and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that's great if you want to incorporate that knowledge into how long it's going to take you to get to your next location, or for planning purposes, if you're down to that millisecond.
Yeah.
I think cop cars and ambulances or fire departments could use that tool
Sure, with the response time, yeah, I'm sure, and it's great technology, but will people see 109 seconds there and say, oh, I have time to reach in my back seat and grab my mascara and put it on. Oh, I have time to do this. I have time to change my shoe. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right. See, that's what I think. That's why I was curious. Is this like going to be a distract? This is new, and it's only for, I think, like the A4s and higher, some of the newer, more luxury Audis. But they're using the cheap Audis too to collect this data. So yeah, it is like a distraction. That's why I was curious if you guys think it's silly or.
I think it's revolutionary.
Because the light's not necessarily going to change the same amount of time each time, so they could say, oh, I have a minute, and they could start digging in their back seat, and it could change without them knowing it.
Hey, wait a minute. I have to tell you this now. Now that you brought this up, talk about distracted driving. Although this technically is not distracted driving because the person was not actually driving. However, in Washington State, a state trooper noticed a vehicle pulled over on the shoulder on the side of a highway, and he pulled up behind him to see what was wrong. And I sent you guys a photograph of this Pokemon.
Oh no.
Yeah. Okay.
What?
So
What is he doing?
imagine the trooper's surprise when he saw the driver playing Pokemon Go on 8 phones
Are you kidding me?
at once. Got to catch them all.
I don't even know
You
how.
gotta catch them all. Are they all linked to one account or
I
different
have
accounts?
no idea. But okay, one, I didn't think anybody still played it. All right.
Right?
I thought that trend had faded into oblivion, but I guess I was
Well,
wrong.
the movie just came out too, so
Oh.
the trend
The
kind of
Pikachu
spiked
movie, yeah.
again. Yeah.
Oh my goodness gracious. Well, anyway, he couldn't be ticketed because he was not driving, but the trooper told him, please put those away, and you should only pull over on the side of the road if you have an emergency.
So I had to catch that Pokemon.
Right? Exactly.
It was a rare one.
Oh my
Okay,
God.
can I just say a real life story that I experienced?
Go ahead.
I was talking to my younger brother, and I'm putting him on blast big time for this. Went riding the bus around so he could catch different Pokemon. And I told this to like 3 or 4 different people, and they're like, "That's a really good idea." And I was like, "Are you
Are
kidding
you
me?"
kidding? Right? Oh my goodness.
You know, just go to the Sprint store. There's a little thing you scan that gives you stuff. By the way.
Oh.
But I mean, like, I guess if you're into that kind of thing, that's a great way of doing it. I
Yeah.
wouldn't waste my time riding around a bus.
No, also, didn't people like go into the middle of the river and stuff,
yeah.
like
One
and led
person-
them astray?
A dead body was found by somebody playing the
God.
game, and then they tripped over it.
Oh my
Are you
gosh.
serious?
Yeah.
There's all kinds of stories. Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, people were walking into it. I mean, it was really, really problematic for a while. I remember
Yes.
they showed the videos of people
Walking in
into
streets.
people.
Yeah, it was bad. But another thing to that phone, there was this body cam footage, and an officer, another highway patrol person, had pulled over somebody in the newer vehicles. So the new vehicles are getting those huge displays now. You've seen it, all
Yes.
the new cars. They're huge. They're the size of a TV in there. So they had pulled him over, and he thought it was his laptop. And when he saw it, and he goes, "Is that your computer?" And he's like, "No, look, this has all my information to the car." So it was pretty funny though that I would be surprised too is how big those screens are noticeable now when you drive by them.
Yeah,
They look like laptops.
they do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So, what else is going on this morning? Anything?
Yeah. I think we definitely had a lot, and we all talked about it.
I know
We might
we're
have to-
pressed for time.
We
That's
might have to do a weather and a break.
Yeah. Do you
Yeah.
want to do it now?
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
All right. Okay, because I know our guest is here and we don't want to keep her waiting. So let's head on into weather.
This morning's low is 80 degrees, with Laughlin and Bullhead cities high at 108 degrees, Kingman at 97 degrees, and Searchlight at 97 degrees. Over here we have Las Vegas at 104 degrees, Flagstaff 85 degrees, Laughlin 110 degrees, Phoenix 110 degrees, and Los Angeles at 79 degrees. And here we have Mesquite at 106 degrees, Searchlight at 99 degrees, Kingman at 99 degrees, Lake Havasu at 110, and Prescott at 92 degrees. On this weather map, it doesn't look like it'll be cloudy today. Nothing but nice clear skies.
Yeah, actually, and the temperatures look quite easy to handle. They look very nice.
Manageable.
Yes, right. We're actually going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we will be joined by Kathleen Whitehead.
Segment of the morning show is brought to you by Fort Mojave Dental, the best place for the best smile in the tri-state area. Kind and caring staff will help you feel better about your smile. Call them today at 928-758-8887 or check them out online at sugarbug.com.
Don Laughlin's Riverside Resort proudly presents Neil Diamond, The Tribute, August 14th through 18th. The King of Diamonds, Rob Garrett, performs his award-winning tribute to singer-songwriter Neil Diamond at this one-of-a-kind tribute concert event. Neil Diamond, The Tribute, live in Don's Celebrity Theater, August 14th through 18th. Tickets on sale now. Call 800-227-3849 or online at riversideresort.com.
Mary and Shirley both need oxygen. Shirley lost her freedom the day she went on oxygen, but Mary has the ultra-compact Inogen 1 G4 oxygen concentrator from Inogen. It's the smallest and lightest model we've ever made, so she'll always have the oxygen she needs anytime, anywhere. The sooner you call, the sooner you can reclaim the freedom and independence you deserve. Call now for your 30-day risk-free trial.
Call 800-371-3730. That's 800-371-3730.
Mojave Skin and Cancer in Laughlin and Bullhead City, serving our area since 1987. You don't have to be a sun worshiper to suffer from skin cancer. That's why it's important to see Dr. Dulot or any one of his associates regularly. You may not recognize the first signs of skin cancer. Mojave Skin and Cancer does. See them at 3650 South Point Circle, Suite 106 in Laughlin, and 2350 Miracle Mile Road in the Riverview Mall in Bullhead City.
And welcome back to Take Two. Well, this is actually the debut of our new segment that we have here with Kathleen Whitehead.
Hi.
Hello. And
Good morning.
Good morning. Of course, she's an LTAB member and involved in a million other things, but today we're going to talk about her visits that if you're a member of the Laughlin Inquiring Minds group on Facebook, then you might have read about some of her adventures, shall we say, to different entities in our little area here.
Well, and I have to say I am so totally blown away because we started the Inquiry Minds in February, and we are now up to close to 750 members.
That's really fantastic.
I mean, I am just blown away. So.
Well, you know, everything you write, it's so informative and interesting and entertaining. And, you know, if we could pan over here, like, you can see that we're going to get to a bunch of different props and samples that Kathleen has been kind enough to bring with us. So you took a visit to the Clark County Water Reclamation District Laughlin Station.
It was my very first one. And I've probably gone to maybe 12, 14 other places since then. So the write-up wasn't all that good. Okay, I will admit that, but I've gotten better. But to me, it was one of the most interesting, informative visits that I've ever had.
Really?
Yes, and hopefully with the samples that I have, we'll show you. But I wanted to thank Greg Turner, who was the plant operations manager, and James Brink, who were kind enough when I went up to them and said, I'm an LTAB member, and explained why I was going through why I wanted to go through and stuff. And they were so good, and they brought down 3 supervisors from Clark County, so there was a total of 5 of us, and then one of our other LTAB members, and they took us from the very beginning, which is called the Sludge Shack, which I'm going to show you.
Okay.
That's what my samples are. And all the way down to the very end, because I don't know if a lot of people know, is the water that we get from here in Laughlin is from the Colorado River. Totally. Bullhead City gets theirs from, we all know, Epcor, and other places, but our water in Laughlin is from the Colorado River. So the water that comes, water reclamation takes care of anything that goes down sinks, toilets, all of that. And then they have this whole process that is so fascinating, from the beginning of stuff that can't go down the toilet, all the way down to where it is so pure that in the last building before it goes back into the river, you could sit there and actually drink the water. They offered to give me a little cup to try.
But did you pass on that? Or?
I passed, but I was that close to trying. But it's the plant, and where the plant is when you're heading up Woodbury.
Yes.
Okay. Woodbury is that big complex that's over on the right-hand side. And so many different buildings and things. And we went through basically every building to see how they clean the water, how they bleach the water. They have these things called sweepers. So they sweep what they can't get at the beginning. And there's like 2 or 3 different buildings that do that. Then they have a big, huge, it's called a holding pond, basically. So if we get a lot of water and stuff, it will go into that catch. It's a catch-all sort of thing. And by the time it gets there, it's almost pure water. And so the bleaching process and everything else that they did was just fascinating.
And for people who wonder what exactly water reclamation means, it's when they take wastewater and they do everything that Kathleen just explained, and then that water is used for irrigation, for crop control, for
No, it goes back into the Colorado River, and then it's brought out through the water company for us to drink.
Okay. Well, then I was informed differently. But
No, what our building here does is it totally cleans it, and it is so pure by the time it goes in back into the water that's why they can pull it back out. That's why the water company can pull it back out for us to drink it.
Alrighty.
Yeah. So a couple things that I found out was that if you're going to work in water reclamation, you have to be able to, it's a recession-proof job, and you need to know biology, chemistry, computer sciences, and math. And in a lot of the different buildings, everything is computerized and it showed the level of chemicals they were putting in and the times and the biology. You have to know biology because of the breakdown of what's going into the water and stuff and what can't go in the water. Chemistry, because you have to know chemistry to, the chemicals that they're putting in there
have to be properly balanced
and stuff. And it was just, and the math was interesting. So, but what I'm going to show, a couple of the different things that I thought was really interesting is the things and I actually did say this at the LTAB meeting. There is only 3 things that go down a toilet, and that's pee, poop, and toilet paper.
Yep.
So, and I'm going to show you samples of different things. But when you first go in, one of the first places they showed us is called the sludge room, and it is. And what it is everything that goes down the toilet that shouldn't go down the toilet, they are your sinks, because they also said for your garbage disposal, you're really not supposed to throw a lot of stuff down there because it has no food value for the microorganisms in the river and stuff. So that's why they just say throw it in the trash. But
and of course, no fats, grease, oil.
No fats, grease, none of that, because
like
he showed us how it came through and it was clogged up in the sludge and stuff. And so what they do is they showed us, it didn't smell real good.
I'd imagine not.
I said, sure, I'll go in. I'm from the Midwest, cows, pigs, all that type stuff. So you smell that. Anyway, so when he took us in and showed us this, and it's a wheel that goes around and around, and it's basically the first stuff that comes in, and all the stuff that they can't end up back in the river, basically. So what they do is they have one of the big blue Republic recycling bins out there, and they take that at least once a week. They have to take that and empty it out at the park or out at the garbage disposal. Okay, it's still a little bit early, and it holds at least 400 pounds. Even though it's only filled, he was telling me yesterday, it's only filled about maybe this high. That's 400 pounds of sludge and stuff that is pulled out. And sometimes they'll have so much stuff that they might have to take 2 a week. And and same with medicines. Do not throw medicines down the toilet.
No.
Because because the chemicals get into the river and they can't clean those out totally.
Right.
So the police department does have, as you walk right inside the police department door, they have a big bin, and that's where you put your medicines and stuff. Still trying to see about getting a Sharps here in town somewhere. We don't have that, but I'm
baby steps.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it. So anyway, so
you have some samples here of things
I have some great samples.
Yes, that and folks out there might not think twice about flushing down the toilet because you think that they are safe to flush down, but
Well, this was the biggest one. You know, a lot of us have these things called flushable wipes.
yes.
It even says on there, flushable. What Perry was telling me yesterday was, I said, well, why do they have it on there that you can? He says, it's basically for them to raise money and it looks good and all this other stuff. So on the 10th of August, I put all my samples in water.
Okay.
So it's been soaking for a week, week and a couple days. So this is the biggest thing that everybody hears about, the flushable wipe.
Oh my gosh.
This is 1 week.
So it
didn't disintegrate at all. Yeah.
Wow.
So do not flush down
That's
a flushable wipe. So that's one thing.
Okay.
I had heard
And imagine hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these.
because when you see this sludge thing, it's just packed with all this stuff. And some of they've even found like a $20 bill.
Oh.
Your hair, all that other stuff does not disintegrate, and it can't go through the whole cleaning system. So they had big clumps of hair and stuff. So this, you know, we all use the cleaning wipes, and then you just don't even think about throwing them down the toilet or whatever. That's a cleaning wipe.
So that's
There's
a
two-
household cleaning wipe.
The household Clorox cleaning wipes.
Well, it
So-
still smells pretty fresh, so
It
obviously that has not disintegrated
So it does
either.
it at
Right.
all. Didn't disintegrate at all. To tell you the truth, I was totally surprised that they didn't. And this was just I just put them in plain water, like they have.
Yeah.
So this is, and I know a lot of us do this too, is your paper towel. This is a paper towel.
Look
After a week,
That's a pretty strong paper towel.
it's just the
pretty durable.
usual
Just a
paper
normal-
towel,
yeah.
just a normal paper towel.
That
So did not disintegrate. So you think when you see this sludge room and you see all this, and this covers the casinos and the, Upper Laughlin, the town of Laughlin. So this is something a lot of women do and stuff, but like a panty liner. This was a panty liner that a lot of women use.
I can't imagine that people
Nothing.
would flush things like that down, but
Things
they
like
do.
they do, and so this is one that I had heard of a long time ago. That it's okay to throw it down, and and I know we all do this, and I finally stopped
Yes, I've
'Cause
been guilty of this.
because I had read about this, about what it does, and I said, oh no, because when you put it in the toilet, it looks like it's
Yeah.
disintegrating. This is Kleenex. Kleenex. This is Kleenex after a week. Did not disintegrate
That
at
makes me feel
all.
terrible because, like you said, I mean, I think many of us are guilty of
Yeah.
having done that.
Kleenex. So the only thing that, like I said, that goes down is toilet paper. So I put this in last night after I had talked to the reclamation people. So
Last night. Now these are all
yesterday afternoon.
have
This
been all
is a
in there
week
for
and a half.
and a half.
Week and a
yes.
half. This is what happens with the toilet paper. So it totally starts coming apart. And so when they put this in the when they put it in there, this breaks down even more. So
Of
this
course.
is a week, a day, less than a day. So that's why they say that's the only thing you put down.
Wow,
You
that
just
that
put
is
there.
so fascinating. That really is, and especially, I mean, with the Kleenex and the flushable wipes.
Yes.
That's
Yes, I mean, I look at everything now. It's like, okay, this. So you just use use your trash bin or baggies or whatever to put things. It would definitely do not send them down the toilet. They also have to. So what water reclamation has to pay for is all of this stuff that doesn't go down the toilet that they have to put in the recycling thing. They have to pay for that to take it to the landfill. So that's another thing. And so they have a thing, and I know some of you've seen this building when you go up. It looks like a geodome, and it's over on the side. And so I had to ask yesterday because I forgot to ask the first time. And it's called an air diffuser. So it diffuses air and it takes out as much water as possible, so that then it doesn't weigh as much when they take it to the landfill and stuff.
I see.
Yeah. And I was surprised that a gallon of water, these little tips here, little things, a gallon of water weighs 8.34 pounds. And 7.4 gallons equals a cubic foot.
Oh,
So I did not know that stuff.
I didn't either.
One thing they love to do is give tours. So I asked him if they give as extensive as what they gave me, because we got to go into just about every single building and see the whole process. And they have a couple different sweepers. They're called sweepers that sweep even more of the stuff out, the bones and like bones, eggshells and stuff. He said, and coffee grounds, don't put those down your sink. Instead, compost them.
Right.
Yeah, because they're so full of nutrients for that, but they're not good for the environment and the water and stuff, for our water. But they love giving tours. And so I said, so what would be the least amount? And he said he would give a tour for one person.
Really?
Yes, all the way
Oh,
up
wow,
to 30 at a time, because one of his employees can handle about 10 people at a time. And tours are on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So you need to get on their website, which is www.cleanwaterteam.com. And then you go into the safety security and just ask to get on the calendar, and they'll tell you when they're doing tours and stuff. So.
Oh, that is fascinating.
Yeah.
You gave me such a detailed tour. I feel like I've already gone on one, but I
Well,
would
it was
love to see
just,
Yeah.
it was such an interesting tour. You know, I've done the constable's office, I've done the chamber. I've got 3 coming up, which I'm not going to tell anybody about yet.
All right.
But they're going to be pretty interesting, and a couple fun ones that are kind of there. But I think this was the most interesting because it's something that hits us every day that we don't think about what cigarette butts.
Oh.
Cigarette butts. A lot of people put cigarette butts down, and the thing is they don't disintegrate at all. They're not degradable. So people put those down, and that's not a good thing. And I was going to say about one other thing, but probably not appropriate. I could. Well, you know me. Okay. So what somebody else said was, and the men will understand this, is a lot of them will throw condoms down the toilet.
Oh my.
Because they don't want people to know that they've.
Oh my.
And
So-
those are definitely non-degradable, and
right,
they get
sure.
stuck and stuff. So it was extremely interesting because you just don't think about what we throw down the toilet, the sink, whatever.
Yeah.
So the difference, like I said, between water reclamation is what goes down the drain, and the water board is what comes out of the faucets and stuff. So
Yeah. No, that is so fascinating. I mean,
was-
some of the stuff obviously is common sense. You don't flush it down the toilet.
Yeah.
But then just seeing your samples there, I think that maybe a lot of you out there inadvertently are
well, we're doing it.
causing more work for the Water Reclamation Board. And,
Yeah.
and of course, it affects our most precious resource, the most precious commodity we have. And
And if you think,
Yeah.
you know, this is the water that starts up here, and I know it sounds gross and stuff, but it does go back into our beautiful Colorado River, and then the water company is the one that then goes through and pulls that out and stuff. So I know some people are wondering what is going on at the end. It's close to Bayshore Inn, is what water reclamation is doing, and it's called collections. There's 4 different parts of the water reclamation.
yes.
And it's I forgot to write it now. I've got it. But anyway, but the last one is collections, and so that's where they have the pump and the lift to bring the water or to take the water down. So that's what they're doing at the end of close to Bayshore Inn, and it should be done. They're replacing pipes, water. It's stuff that's been there like forever. So they're replacing the whole thing, and they were telling me that they should be done with that in about another month or so.
Oh, wow.
The other thing I know, a lot of people are wondering what the heck is going on at the bridge that's got it blocked off. Well, that is actually a new well. They're putting in a second well, and that's through the water company, Nevada Water company, and it should be done. They told me it probably in about another month or so. And what it is, it's a backup well, because for those of you that were here about 2-3 years ago when the well broke down, and we had to have bottled water, and we had to have boil water, all that other stuff.
Oh, dear.
Well, this is a backup well, and it should be done. They're thinking in about another 2 to 3 months. This is another interesting thing that I found, not to do with water reclamation, but because it's a small well, it can take up to 6 months to drill, to fill a well. So what they said the other day was they have it almost all the way drilled, and now they're getting ready to put the pipes and all that other stuff that needs to go in there with the well. So
these things
another
take
couple
time,
months,
and
yeah.
people wonder what's going on.
Couple more
so-
months, and you'll be able to use that the parking thing to go out to Heritage Park and stuff. So
Well, that's good news.
Yeah.
And certainly for a good reason. So
yes. So any questions?
Yes. When can I go on a tour? I'm really interested. This is just fantastic. Actually,
Yeah.
you answered that for us too.
It was just and they were so nice, and they were so excited. Which most of the places I've gone to, they're so excited that people want to know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And then to see all that they're doing back there it's amazing. We have some of the cleanest water that goes back into the river than anywhere else because of all the chemicals and stuff. And it was just,
Did
like
they
I
have-
said, it was my most fascinating one. It was the one I liked better than
I
any.
could see why. Now, do they have classroom tours? I'd imagine they like kids come in there.
That's a good question. I think they probably do. Yes, they do. They did tell me that.
Oh, yeah.
And what they do is they give you a goodie bag,
Uh-huh.
and this is what got me going with this is in there they give you all the information about the water, keep it clean, what not to put down, all this other stuff. But they gave you a metal jar, basically, is what it was, container, and said, now put something in there like the flushable wipes, and naturally I had to go do it.
Of course.
Went home, put it in there, and I had that flushable wipe in there for a month.
Oh my gosh.
Didn't degrade at all after a month. He was telling me that they have one, and I think it's probably the degradable or the flushable wipe also, that's been there for 7 years and still hasn't degraded at all.
But what I don't understand is, and I don't know who could answer this question, but I know that we've done probably 3 stories since I've been here where specific communities have called for residents to stop flushing flushable wipes down their toilet. Well, when is somebody going to take action and say you can no longer label flushable wipes as being flushable if they are not biodegradable?
Well, if you look now, because now I look at everything, a lot of now are actually doing that. Some of them that say that they are. You'll see if you look at the back, then they'll have the little thing and do not flush down and stuff. But the other ones, like the baby wipes and stuff, they say you can.
Yeah, that's another thing too, baby wipes.
Yeah, and he was telling me it's the companies because they make money if it's that easy to flush it down the toilet and
Well,
not
sure, they
fill the
make money.
landfills and all that stuff. So.
Right, but if it's not truthful, then they have. I don't know. Maybe we're gonna have a few
well, hopefully
steps above
this-
my pay grade, but maybe we'll dig on that.
Hopefully this'll doing this right here, this segment right now, will open a lot of eyes of people here. So if
Right.
it starts here,
Yes, have to start.
you know, it'll start expanding out maybe and have others. Like I said, the Kleenex was the biggest surprise because I'd read about it and I said, oh no, because it looks
just-
like it's
yeah.
going to degrade and stuff. But no, you saw, and then it clumps up when it gets into the machine. And the stuff that they had like a big, almost like a pitchfork to pull it out to the stuff to put into the bin. And I mean, it was a big eye opener. Big eye opener.
Well,
to
I
tell the
think you
truth, so.
opened the eyes of many of our viewers because I mean that speaks for itself there,
Yeah.
and it's just wow.
I know, that's what I said when I did it. And then when I went and checked them yesterday to get them ready to bring today, and none of them were even starting to degrade. So just buy a lot of sandwich bags and stuff and use them and
flush what you're supposed to down the drain.
yes, and be careful what you do throw down the garbage. He said the best thing to put down a garbage disposal is ice cubes. And ice cubes are good because what it does is it sharpens up your mechanism. So then that makes it when you and definitely don't throw eggs and bones, he said, eggshells and stuff, which my husband doesn't. It drives me absolutely bonkers now that I know not to. Is because it keeps it sharp enough so when you throw things down after you use the ice, then it breaks down what you put into the disposal even more. So it's the smaller chips that they can rake out. They have these big bins and literally they are rakes that go across the water to take out what they've missed, and they do that probably about 2 or 3 times in one room, and then it goes down to another room, and it does that even more and stuff. So it was just, like I said, it was my funnest tour I've had so far.
Sam, you're like a little kid over here talking about it, so that's why I'm imagining that the kids, I mean, it would be a great learning experience for them too, and then they can go home and tell their parents everything that.
Well, they do have, like I said, the tour. They did tell me they do have some school tours that do come in, and they'll take them around and stuff. Some of the areas, for safety reasons,
obviously,
they can't take them into, but to watch the computers how it adjusts what they're doing, the water and everything, and then the chemicals and everything else. So you really have to be science oriented to work there.
I mean, I know that this plant has been open since 1985, and they have just obviously kept up with the times. And as you were saying, you know, they're working there behind Bay Shore now, and they're constantly up to date with the newest technology, the latest everything, and it's great. And hey, nobody really complains about our drinking water here in Laughlin.
No. And just a thing, if you did get that water to the water board, I'm going to push this down, is people that offered to have their water tested, they need those back as soon as possible. They need 20 of the samples. So when I took mine in the other day, they had 15. And what they're doing is they are sampling all of our water for like copper and just all kinds of other stuff. So they need your samples back if you got one of the big bottles.
Okay, so you heard it here. If you have one of the
big
bottles,
testing bottles, they're a white bottle that if you offered to be one of the testers, they need them back as soon as possible so they can start testing our water. And then at one of the LTAB meetings, I'm pretty sure that they will tell us how good our water is.
Well, we'll look forward to hearing that. We certainly will. And we will look forward to our next inquiring mind.
Yes, I'm not going to tell you what it is, but
oh man,
I don't know myself yet.
Okay, all right. At least you're honest. Oh, well, thank you.
I have a few ideas.
Oh, I'm sure you do. Thank you so much as always.
You're welcome.
And we'll see you back here next Monday.
Yes.
All right.
No, not
when? Next Monday. Oh, next.
I only once
that's
a
right.
month.
It's once a month. I'm sorry. See, she said she had 14 segments already done.
Yeah, once a month, probably the third Friday of each month, third Monday of each month, fourth Monday, whatever.
Yeah, something like that.
About the middle of the month.
Okay, we will see her back here next month, and we will see you right after these messages.
Attention, those who have used Monsanto's Roundup weed killer in a commercial setting and developed non-Hodgkin's lymphoma cancer. In the past year, juries have decided that Roundup weed killer caused plaintiffs to develop non-Hodgkin's lymphoma cancer. If you or someone you know were exposed to the weed killer Roundup in a commercial setting and later developed non-Hodgkin's lymphoma cancer, call us right now. You may be entitled to financial compensation. Call now, 800-943-3078.
Have you been thinking about relocating your existing business or even starting a new business? Laughlin Town Center is now under new ownership. Suites are available from 800 to over 2,000 square feet. The Laughlin Town Center is adjacent to the Needles Highway. An abundance of potential customers driving by every day, and there's plenty of parking along with well-manicured trees and shrubs surrounding the property. An absolutely awesome opportunity for your future. Call Mary Ellen Viraldi at 702-298-6542.
Attention, those who have used Monsanto's Roundup weed killer in a commercial setting and developed non-Hodgkin's lymphoma cancer. In the past year, juries have decided that Roundup weed killer caused plaintiffs to develop non-Hodgkin's lymphoma cancer. If you or someone you know were exposed to the weed killer Roundup in a commercial setting and later developed non-Hodgkin's lymphoma cancer, call us right now. You may be entitled to financial compensation. Call now, 800-943-3078.
Mojave Skin and Cancer in Laughlin and Bullhead City, serving our area since 1987. You don't have to be a sun worshiper to suffer from skin cancer. That's why it's important to see Dr. Dulot or any one of his associates regularly. You may not recognize the first signs of skin cancer. Mojave Skin and Cancer does. See them at 3650 South Point Circle, Suite 106 in Laughlin, and 2350 Miracle Mile Road in the Riverview Mall in Bullhead City. This segment of the morning show is brought to you by Golden Nugget Laughlin. Experience a new kind of reward. Sign up for the 24 Karat Select Club today.
Well, that was so interesting. I don't know, Chad. I'm still a little perturbed by the fact that they allow manufacturers to produce flushable wipes, something that clearly is not, as you just saw. They do not disintegrate, they're not biodegradable, but yet you can still put the label of flushable on them?
That's ridiculous. You shouldn't be able to do that. I completely agree with everything you're just saying. But would anybody buy them if they knew they couldn't flush? They aren't supposed to flush them?
No, but if all of these different reclamation districts and wastewater systems and all of the different utilities across the country are saying, hey, they are not biodegradable, they do not disintegrate, they do not flush, you should not flush them, when are they going to say either they have to change the way they make them
or provide a different label?
Repackage them saying you can't flush me?
I mean, I guess what started them putting, because I'm sure when there's an issue like that, usually the companies had an idea long before the public is aware of it. So, but it costs less to go ahead and just pay out lawsuits, I guess, than it does to...
Maybe.
So I'm wondering, though, like, how long have they known that they aren't flushable, and why would they continue it at that point?
I don't know, but they've been clogging septic systems throughout the country. I know that, even you mentioned it, Chris, we had said it before. I've talked about this. I've had at least 3 different news stories, and 2 came out of Lake Havasu City where they actually showed pictures of what happens to the system when you have all of these wipes that get stuck in there, along with many of the other things that Kathleen told us about.
Now, when you say septic system, are you meaning just like any sewerage type?
Well, yes, they actually showed what happens to your own pipes. I mean, that's one thing, but these things that get pushed down into the main,
system.
the sewer, and go into the treatment facilities, they don't disintegrate.
I never will buy those again, knowing that you're not allowed to flush them or you're not supposed to. It's
no, because people are innocently doing something that can wreak a lot of havoc on our reclamation district pipes and even Kleenex. Imagine Kleenex.
In the end, it costs us more money because we pay taxes, and that's what they would use.
Vicious circle, I tell you.
I agree.
Vicious circle.
I agree.
But that was very fast. That was interesting. That was really.
I didn't. I was surprised at how fascinating I found it because of what the topic was.
I know, exactly. It's kind of giggle worthy, but
yes,
it's a lot of important and educational information. And, a reminder too, to not put things that you shouldn't, like medication, flush those and things like that. We don't want any meth gators, and we don't want any of that stuff getting into our water supply. That's the main reason. So,
or like a gator with an opiate problem. Like we don't want them
exactly.
showing up at
We
our
don't,
door.
because who's going to pay for the therapy?
Yeah, I
Exactly.
saw crawl, guys.
Yeah.
Exactly. Tax dollars.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, didn't they say that was not true? They said that that was a big joke. That the Tennessee police said that they didn't want anyone to take that seriously about the meth gators.
Oh my God, for real? They
Yeah.
said that? Oh,
Yeah, they did.
I
I read
part.
that.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, I remember that.
I know we have to take a look at weather. Well, we'll do that. We'll save a story for you for tomorrow. And of course, we'll have news tomorrow too, but let's look at the 5-day weather. And our 5-day weather is brought to you by Mojave Skin and Cancer. And they have offices right here in Laughlin and across the river in Lake Havasu City, Kingman, and Bullhead City. And they can serve all of your dermatological needs.
Sunny skies all this week, with Monday at 110 degrees with winds from the south at 12 miles an hour. Tuesday at 112 degrees with winds from the southwest at 7 miles an hour. Wednesday at 116 degrees with winds from the west-southwest at 9 miles an hour. Thursday at 112 degrees with winds from the south at 12 miles an hour. And Friday at 109 degrees with winds from the south at 11 miles an hour. Over here we have Maple Grove at 83 degrees, Chicago at 82 degrees, Detroit at 89 degrees, Cincinnati at 95 degrees, and Kansas City at 95 degrees. And partly cloudy at some areas.
And once again, our 5-day weather is brought to you by Mojave Skin and Cancer. And wow, it looks pretty nice across the country.
Yeah, it jumps up a little bit, but not too bad around here. So I'm excited about the reasonable temperature.
Yeah. Nice day to get outside, right? Who am I kidding? We're going to stay in the air conditioning.
No doubt.
All right, thank you, Chad.
Anytime.
And thank you, Chris.
You're welcome.
Yes, that's the correct answer. And thank you, Joe.
You're welcome.
And thank you all for watching. We will see you back here tomorrow morning with the latest in tri-state news and us. Have a great day.
Today's morning show has been brought to you by
At Golden Nugget Laughlin, experience a new kind of reward. Sign up for the 24 Karat Select Club today.
The preceding presentation of the morning show is intended for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the show without the express written consent of TV2 KLBC is strictly prohibited.
The Boys and Girls Club of the Colorado River encourages you to donate local, shop local, and support local at the club's thrift store in Bullhead City. Donate your gently used items. Shop at the thrift store for great bargains to support programs for our local youth. It's that easy. Also, volunteers are always needed. The Boys and Girls Club of the Colorado River. Great futures start here.
Have you been thinking about relocating your existing business or even starting a new business? Laughlin Town Center is now under new ownership. Suites are available from 800 to over 2,000 square feet. The Laughlin Town Center is adjacent to the Needles Highway. An abundance of potential customers driving by every day, and there's plenty of parking along with well-manicured trees and shrubs surrounding the property. An absolutely awesome opportunity for your future. Call Mary Ellen Viraldi at 702-298-6542.